Hello, today I will be covering the Participants tab on the Graph Explorer. There are three participants: indexers, curators, and delegators. All these use GRT, the work utility token, in some form or fashion. For more details of each role, I suggest to check out the docs, which up here, and you can read more into each role. The indexer tab is probably the most intricate of all the roles. It defaults to sort the indexers by query fees, with Ellipra being the top indexer for query fees. However, you can adjust the sorting by any of these fields columns by any that you see an arrow. So you can check out the highest APY or any of these other columns. And it's also worth mentioning you can hover your mouse over each item in the column, and it gives you a more detailed explanation of what the column is. And you can also, there's a lot of fields that you can't see it all at once, so you can expand the table out. And still, with expanding, you don't get to all the columns, so you can click somewhere in between here and use the right arrow on your keyboard to kind of get that last bit of information. It should also be worth noting you can lock either one of these two columns. So if you're searching, comparing APY with this further information to the right, you can lock that column, and it's similar to Excel feature freeze panes. So you can still view this while looking over this information here. And on the top here, you can see there's 110 indexers currently. The first column shows how many subgraphs each indexer has currently allocations to. And for instance, Ellipra has over 418 currently. The next column is the estimated APR, and that is just the estimated on the current subgraphs they're allocated to, how much is put on each subgraph. And there's different factors that go into this, such as how much delegation they have, self-stake, and which allocations. The next column is the total query fees, which is what this indexer is, the top query fee indexer has over the time lifespan of his indexing. And next column is the rewards, indexing rewards that's paid out to this indexer for the lifetime of his indexing for the subgraphs he's allocated to. And this self-staked is how much this indexer has of his own GRT, and this is subjected to be slashed if bad behavior on the network. And this column shows he has over 70 million GRT delegated to him. And if you scroll over, this allocated is just a combination of the delegated tokens and his self-stake. And next we have delegation capacity, which you can have a maximum of 16 times your self-stake. So that's the maximum that this indexer can utilize to allocate to subgraphs. And so it shows here that he has 6.5 approximately left for delegators to delegate to him, and after that he'll hit his maximum. And then we have the delegation parameters. This just shows of the earned query fees. This indexer is taking this much. So out of 100 earned, he takes 86, and the delegators get the remainder. Similar with effective reward cut, he's taking 14.54%, and the delegators get the remainder. And if you were to choose this indexer to delegate to, you would click these three dots and you could delegate. And then when you want to undelegate, you come back and undelegate and wait your 28 days thaw. And then you have to come back a second time and then withdraw. And within this, you can drill down further into the indexer, and you can see this total, different information here. Total stake is just a self stake again, and the total delegated GRT. Of that, he has everything allocated to subgraphs, and he must have had so an undelegate, and that's why it's a negative. This just shows the total income that this indexer has earned over his lifetime. It's 7.39 million plus this query fees, and it shows you the breakdown here of this 7.3 million. He's kept 1.3 approximately for himself for overhead costs or the cost of doing the work, and then gave to the delegators the remainder. It's approximately 20%. And it shows same here with indexing. Query fees, 147,000. He kept approximately 100 of that, and the rest went to the delegators. And here's just kind of similar to the other page, just shows the maximum capacity, 16 times the self stake. He has 6.5 available to be delegated to. This is his rewards cut. So of all the indexing fees he earns, he's taking 20%, and 86% of the query fees he's taking. And the effective reward cut is just basically when you consider his self stake and put that into the pot with all the delegation, he's only taking 14.5% of that pot. And you can scroll down, you'll see all the open allocations that he has, and you could also see past allocations and disputes. If someone were to say he had bad behavior and maybe slashed his self stake, it would show up here. And you could see that this allocation is open for 18 hours and 2 minutes. So you can keep an eye if you're a delegator, if they go over their 28 days here. Let's get back to the participants tab. Come up here, and the next is curators, and currently there's 795 curators, and it's sorted by the amount signaled. And a lot of times these high amounts are projects self-signaling their own subgraphs. You can also drill down into and open up and see what subgraphs they're signaling to. And this shows you all the different subgraphs they're signaling to. You can load more, but basically it shows this is the amount. This column shows the amount they signaled, and this is their current value. So they currently, the tax when you first signal is 1%, so he has not earned anything on this particular subgraph, but this one he earned a little bit because same amount, 20,000, it would show 19,800, and he earned a little bit of query fees, and also shows on this column if this subgraph earns some query fees. And last but not least, there's a delegators tab, and it shows currently there's over 176,000 delegators. It's sorted out by delegation amount. It shows their unrealized rewards, which means the ones you haven't taken out or withdrew, and realized rewards are just ones that you have taken out. And if you forget what they are or need further information, just don't forget you can hover over this and it gives you a further breakdown. And it shows that this particular delegator has multiple indexers that they delegate to. You can open that and kind of get an idea of where they're delegating, if it's current delegation or prior. And that is basically summary of the participants tab. I hope that answers some questions and helps you navigate through. Thank you.